mic and project. Good afternoon. We have the pleasure of having a martial arts legend, actor, Don the Dragon Wilson.
Well, thank you very much. I don't consider myself an actor, even though I've been professionally acting since 1982.
Bloodfist.
My very first movie was a Chinese movie called New York Chinatown, and it was from Hong Kong, and they shot it in New York City, and that was my first professional acting job, and that's 1982. But I didn't make a career choice to be an actor until 1985, when I retired for my first time, and I moved to LA. And this was all, I blame it all on Chuck Norris. Chuck, it's all your fault. But Chuck Norris was going to my fights, and Bruce Lee had put him in a movie, and Chuck had a beginning movie career in the 70s and 80s, and he suggested that I move to LA and try to have a second career as an actor. And I owed, not my whole career, but I owe the idea and the confidence that I had to pack my bags up and move to LA on Chuck Norris. Chuck Norris suggested it. And, when people compare me, they try to compare me to like Jackie Chan and other martial artists. But actually, the one I'm closest to is Chuck Norris, because he was a fighter first and famous fighter. He was known worldwide. I've talked to guys in his time period, the late 60s, early 70s. And they all said to a man, they believed Chuck overall was the best in his day. And in 1984, I was voted by Black Belt Magazine the best kickboxer in the world, pound for pound.
Nice.
And
Nice.
That was the peak of my career, 1984. And so Chuck and I, we really are cut from the same mold.
Yeah.
But if Jackie Chan, Jet Li had not been doing movies, we wouldn't be talking about him right now.
Yeah.
Because they were not famous fighters and then did movies. Same with Jean-Claude Van Damme. Although he said he was a world champion kickboxer. I've never seen one of those. I tell people, I said, listen, man, you go on YouTube. Thank goodness I love the internet. Yeah. And you punch Jean-Claude Van Damme world title kickboxing matches, nothing pops up. But nothing pops up. We had videos back then. We had TV and yeah, he was not a kickboxer. But look, you don't need to be a kickboxer to have a successful career.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, it might be in some ways a detriment, because movie producers don't think of you as an actor who does martial arts. They think of you, hey, it's some fighter.
Yeah.
It's like Stallone didn't go out and hire a boxer to be in Rocky.
Yeah.
No.
He got Carl Weathers, actor.
A football player.
Former NFL football player. But I'm just saying, we don't know if Clint Eastwood can shoot a gun, but he can fake it great, right? Every time he pulls the trigger,
he kills someone.
People goes down.
Yeah, exactly.
And Van Damme looks great as an actor. Yeah. He poses well. He's flexible, and yes. So he didn't have to say he was a world champion kickboxer, and even to this day, he won't just come out and say, no, I was never even a top 10 fighter. I mean, we have the internet now, so you can just Google it. Google it.
His record is about as famous as his dancing skills.
Yeah, no. If he had never done a movie, we wouldn't know his name.
Yeah,
we wouldn't know his name. But listen, you don't need that. I respect him as an actor.
Yeah.
He's done a lot of films, and many of them are very highly successful. Of course, there was a boom time for martial art films.
Yeah.
And I would say it's the late 80s, right when Blood Sport came out. And then a few months later, Blood Fist came out, my movie. So we rode it's like being surfing on a tidal wave. If you got that big tidal wave behind you, you could surf a long way.
Yeah.
And there was a boom for martial art movies in the 80s and 90s, and me and Van Damme capitalized on it. And got nothing against him anymore. I've met him a few times. I've always been friendly to him. Yeah. He seems like a friendly guy. Seagal is we could do an entire episode on. but he is a very highly experienced Aikido black belt. Yeah. I respect him for his martial arts, but it's embarrassing to be a famous for martial arts and be in Hollywood when another martial artist is doing negative things.
Yeah.
And Seagal has a reputation for doing that. It's just a fact of life, and not just in Hollywood, but everywhere where guys use a position to try to get sex from women. So Seagal's, it's kind of embarrassing for us as martial artists. We say martial arts helps your character, builds strong character, good character. And Seagal is a high-ranking martial artist, but he has been accused by many women I know.
Yeah.
They literally called me up right after auditioning for Seagal for Under Siege 2. And she said Seagal wanted her to take her clothes off at the audition. She said, well, there's no nudity in this movie. He goes, the nudity's here. To get the role, you got to... No, listen, I wasn't in that room. I don't know what happened. But if you, as a martial artist, Hollywood's a small community. The word gets out.
Absolutely.
The word gets out. So... what do they say? You can fool some of the time. You can fool some of the people some of the time.
But you can't fool people all the time.
Not all of them.
Yeah, exactly.
The truth comes out. And the guy that I look up to is a actor / martial artist, Chuck Norris. He made his name as a fighter. That's why when Bruce Lee finally got the clout to do his own movie, he wanted to fight Chuck Norris.
Yes.
And I did the same thing when I did Fist and Bloodsport. I brought real fighters in, and famous martial artists who were not famous for movies, famous for fighting, and I used them. And that's something Bruce Lee did back in even the 70s. He did it with Chuck Norris, brought him in to fight him, and the big fight scene at the Coliseum. And to this day, to me, it's one of the most iconic martial art fight scenes is Bruce Lee and Chuck Norris fighting. Not so much. There's not a single technique they throw that a green belt could throw, because it's not the technique. It's the fact it's Bruce Lee and Chuck Norris fighting.
Absolutely.
And it was great. Every beat of it tells a story. If you remember, Bruce Lee wasn't doing good in the beginning, and because he was fighting kind of like flat-footed and using power, and then he got on the balls of his feet, he started bouncing, and then he shifted it, and then they even showed. Bruce Lee was a pretty good director because he directed those fight scenes, as well as choreographed them, and he showed that they showed a close up of his feet when he starts bouncing on his feet, and that's what he was showing. He was I'd say the like Einstein is in physics, the first one to say the best way to learn martial arts is to study as much as you can. Different styles, though. Yep. He suggested it. He said, take Goju, take Taekwondo, take Jiu-Jitsu, Aikido. He said this back in the 70s when it was blasphemy. If you study martial arts, you studied one style and that's it. Yep. And Bruce Lee said, no, study everything. He said, in the end, you'll have your own personal style. That's right. You fight differently. You'll fight different than me. Why should everybody fight exactly like one person?
It'll be easy to defend.
Yeah.
That's right.
Well, because you just figure them out, and then you got them.
Yeah.
But Bruce Lee did not believe in that. He believed you have your own personal style. Each person is a different person, and my fighting style turned out to be similar to Bruce Lee's, but not because it's just coincidence. I'm a right-handed, but I fight southpaw. Bruce Lee fought southpaw because he wanted his strong hand forward. His favorite technique was a sidekick. Well, I'm known for my sidekick. Today they don't even use it. I fight MMA guys, top-ranking MMA guys. I spar them in the gym, not fight. And I can't miss them with the sidekick because I tell people if I see two shoulders, you're not getting away from my sidekick.
You're square.
If you turn like Mayweather and you fight for that shell,
lay your butt.
That's then you're not going to get sidekicks in on that guy because he's like it's not easy. But if you fight like this square, I said that sidekick. Yeah.
You have a lot of body.
Yeah. Well, look, I can throw it at the legs, the body, and the head.
Yeah.
So if you're square, like if you're fighting in a grappling stance, because I wrestled in college. That's how I got through school. I went out for wrestling, and I never wrestled in high school. I never even watched a wrestling match. I walked onto a mat at the age of like 18, and got a full scholarship wrestling because I was an athlete. I was an MVP of my high school football and basketball team. I scored 40 points a game in basketball. In football, I was a middle linebacker, and I would get 3 tackles in a row. So literally, I would stop the other team by myself. I actually yelled at the players though. I said, "Hey, you guys want to help me out here with this game? Does anybody else want to tackle one of these guys?"
Everybody was in awe just watching you.
Well, no, I was a middle linebacker, but I was, you know, my wife says you're obsessed. You're obsessed. I said, yes, I that's how you excel in something.
That's right.
If my, like right now, if I have 5 minutes extra time, I just go in right to the gym and hit the heavy bag. I never get bored of punching and kicking a heavy bag. So kickboxing for 28 years seemed like just a drop. It was over too quick for me. Where most people, in fact, other fighters have told me, I said, you should apply for the Guinness Book of World Records because they can't think of any kickboxer who started in 74 and in 2002 was still fighting. Four decades later.
Wow. That's a long time.
28 years as a pro kickboxer. And yeah, I could fight tonight if they had cash. I'll fight in the parking lot. I'm a mercenary, you know. I love kickboxing. I never felt like work. Even to this day, if I have free time, I go to the gym and punch and kick the heavy bag.
It's the love. It's a lot. You said something that resonated with me. Yeah. When you get bored, then it's not important anymore.
No, you know what? I get bored on movie sets. I gotta admit. I'm talking but the pay is good. If making movies was minimum wage, nobody would be doing it.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
No, and I'm not saying all I do is go for the money because I did not. That's why I had a long career. Because what happens is my best friend was Sean Penn's younger brother, Chris Penn. Rest in peace, Chris. I was the last guy to talk to him. When he hung the phone up, he died that night, a heart attack. But Chris used to say, Don, you're going to start getting money offers. This is after Blood Fist came out. He goes, the higher the money offer, you're going to get excited. Oh, look.
Yeah, of course.
And it was money. It was good. It was good money. And I did get excited, but he said, just know this, the more money they offer, generally the less quality of the movie, and the movie is not going to be as good because they know the only reason you're doing it is for the money.
Yes.
If they have the good script, if they have a good experienced director, if they have other co-stars that people recognize and respect, then it's a good movie. Yeah. Then you're lucky that they're offering you the role. He said, but when all they do is say, here's the script, and it's a big chunk of money to do the movie, he goes, generally in Hollywood, the more money you get offered, the less quality the movie is. And he was right. I said no to the many offers early in my career that were big money to me. And I didn't like the scripts even myself. I read them as like, they were not good. Let's put it this way. If they were good, Brad Pitt would be reading them, right? Then send them to Tom Cruise would be reading it, and not the Dragon. But I ended up having a long career because I started in 30 films. My fight record is not as good as my movie record. And all 30 films I starred in were profitable. I'm 30-0 in the film business.
All right, now
30-0.
Now I have a question. I think a lot of people that are listening want to know. In all your films, did you do your own stunts?
Of course. Listen.
He said he was the middle linebacker.
I know, but listen, no. The reason why it's not necessarily good to do your own stunts is this. They put, even my movies, several $1 million into a movie, and if you sprain your ankle, shut down production, then somebody's going to lose their money. Now, every film company gets what they call bonded. They get an insurance company to insure them. Yep. And they charge them. They go, okay, what's the movie? They look at the script. They have a way, insurance companies, of figuring out whether or not it's dangerous. Now, if it's like a Jackie Chan movie, I'm sure they got to pay a fortune to get a insurance company because he gets hurt in every one.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's doing all the stunts himself.
Yeah.
I'm saying jumping off buildings and all that.
Yeah, that's
the fight scenes are me. I mean, why do I need a stunt double to do my fight scenes? I mean, any green belt in this room can do a martial art fight scene. Look, Keanu Reeves can do it, right? He looks pretty good. Yeah. Anybody can do that. I take no pride in the movie stuff because, look, if I throw a kick and it looks a little sloppy or whatever, they just do another one. Okay, take two. And then look, if you physically can't do something in a movie, they'll get a stunt double. They'll shoot it from every angle but his face, and they'll just cut it into the movie.
Yeah.
So I take pride in the fact that I like the scripts.
Yeah.
I like the. I get involved in the co-producing. I pick the stars and the director. I go in the editing rooms, and I've actually edited 2 of my movies myself. I mean, I went with an editor, of course, because the directors went on to other projects and they trusted me. And well, one director, I fired him. He didn't trust me. Well, the guy was big. Here's something that no martial arts star would tolerate this from a director. We choreograph a whole fight scene and we get ready to shoot it. And the director comes up and says, "But you only got 2 hours to shoot this whole fight scene." And I go, 2 hours? People are wanting to watch the movie for the fight scenes, fight action. And basically he did not like the fact that he wasn't in control of the fight action. So he tried to minimize it every time. So finally, I just told him, well, not him. I told the producer, he's got to go. This is his last day. He doesn't come back tomorrow morning. I'll have my own director. And Art Camacho took over the movie and finished the movie. And then I get a phone call from the producer when the movies are done. And he goes, "Don, you got to go to the editing room." I go, "What do you mean editing room?" He said, "Well, you fired the director." So the editors don't know how to cut. I mean, they know how to do it, but they don't know which take is the one that is the best. They're not responsible for that, editors, really.
Yeah.
And so I went in and I had to tack on another month or so of non-paid work. Well, I only did it one time. I only fired one director. Nice. And but it was intolerable. No martial art action star would allow a director to cut. Basically, he was cutting the fight scenes out of the movie.
Yeah.
He was just saying, "We don't have time to shoot what you guys choreographed and what you want to shoot." And I'm thinking,
that's the most important.
If I tell you what he was spending the time shooting, you'll agree with me. He brought in, I think it's called mariachi dancer or something, a dancer, and he was going to shoot her in a nightclub dancing. Well, I had a big fight scene in that nightclub, big one choreographed, and he spent all the time shooting her. And Fred Williamson, I don't know, the actor, he showed up early to do all the fight action, and he just sat in his trailer waiting. And I went into Fred and I apologized to him. I said, "Fred, it's my fault. I never worked with this director." I think it might have been like the director's first movie. Might have been his first and last. I don't know. But last working with me, though. That's for sure. I work with the guy. But anyway, look, behind the scenes, nobody tells the truth in Hollywood. They just say good things about the movie. If the star and the director are fighting like cats and dogs, you never hear about it.
Don't mention that.
But I tell people, no, I'm more likely inclined to just tell the truth, whatever the experience was. And I'm not bad-mouthing him. I'm just telling the truth. This is what the guy did. He you know what? He was actually a talented director, because when I went into the editing room, he had a lot of. The movie is called Whatever It Takes. It's me, Fred Williamson, and Andrew Dice Clay. Those are the stars. Dice Man. Well, I wanted to add comedy, but I didn't have comedic writers working with me. So the writers had no comedy in that script. So I told Andrew Dice Clay, we had dinner before when I asked him to be in the movie. And I said, "Look, you just improv it any way you want." And I said, because I knew I was going in the editing room, I said, "I'll cut in whatever works. What I think was funny." Every word he said, every comedic thing he did, I had a choice, one or the other, but I'm saying it all was put in the movie. And I told him he should have got writing credit because he would do the take as written. So we have it in the, what they call the can. We have it in the can, the take. But then he would improv one scene. And I just had to keep up with him, as an actor, because you're not acting when you don't have any idea what he's going to say. You're listening to him. You're just reacting. I think
that would be rather difficult, knowing, when you're just ad lib, because now it's not natural, and you're more inclined to laugh.
Well, look,
or react to it. Because you don't know the punchline.
I did react to it. I did. Whatever you see me in the movie, whatever. Well, you know what? Tubi TV. Tubi has a bunch of them, and that's one of the ones they pick.
Yeah.
And you can watch them free now. My movies have been around so long that they're like almost public domain. Quentin Tarantino called up, and he's got a theater in LA. Yeah. He wanted to show 2 of my movies, but he didn't want to do it if I wouldn't go there, and because film students were coming to watch it. Tarantino's he only shows movies on 35 millimeter, at least back then when he showed my movie, and he wanted to do a double feature, Blood Fist 1 and Blood Fist 2. So he said, "Would you do a Q&A afterwards for the audience?" I said, "Yes, of course." It's in LA, and he's showing 2 of my movies, and he called them classics, Blood Fist 1 and Blood Fist 2. To him, they had reached the, they're made in the 80s. So, and this, I think he did the screening, gosh, it was early 2000s or late 90s is when he did it. So they've been around for a long time. And the film students were, what they really wanted to know was about Roger Corman, because he's like an iconic guy in the movie industry, Roger Corman. He produced Blood Fist 1 and 2, and they wanted to know about my relationship with him. How was it working with him? And I told him the truth, that it was great. And of all the actors, I did more movies for Roger Corman than any actor. I did 12 movies for him.
Wow.
And 12 with one producer. And our relationship was great. The last thing I did for him was put money in his pocket, so I'm proud of that. I was in a movie production office, and I get a phone call from my agent, and he said, "Hey, Roger wants to ask you for a favor." And I go, "Well, yeah, sure." So he says, "Don, I'm selling the rights to Blood Fist to China. They want the rights to Blood Fist. They want to do a TV series." So he said, "But they won't buy the rights if you won't be in the TV show."
Oh, there you go.
And I know Roger was kind of exaggerating, but he said they probably could just shoot all yours, because it's being shot in Beijing, a Blood Fist TV series. And he said, they'll just get all your scenes and shoot you out in 2 weeks. So you'll go to Beijing, because he knew I was married, I got kids, and living in Beijing.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, I said, "Roger, you just tell them whatever they want, I will do." And he said, "Thank you." So I literally made the sale for him. He sold. He immediately called a Chinese producer, and they made the deal. And we were supposed to shoot the series in Beijing. Let's see, Trump was president at the time. And, he did. He said something to China, like he didn't start a trade war, but he said something negative. And the Chinese are communists. Yes. They run the government runs the movie industry and the TV industry. Yeah, they said, "We don't want Americans coming over here now." Oh, so that shut down my TV series. Oh boy! It was Trump's proposed trade war with China. But you know what? Hollywood is a weird place. It may get revived again someday. Somebody might say, "Hey, let's," because the right now digital download is popular, and the most successful digital download in history was a old martial art movie called Roadhouse. They did a remake of it for the Roadhouse, and
Patrick Swayze.
Patrick Swayze. But they did it with Jake Gyllenhaal, a really talented actor, which Patrick is as well. And he learned enough martial arts to fake. And then they got Conor McGregor, the bad guy.
Yes.
And that got over 50 million hits. That's pretty darn good audience. 50 million. And it's not like a guess, because it's online. They literally have the views clicked on. Yeah. So and that's a remake of an old movie.
Yes.
And I've got a lot of old movies. We can remake everyone. If they wanted, the producers in Hollywood want to remake them, I'll remake them all.
And if you want, I'll be your stunt double.
Yes, I need them. I need experienced martial artists. I use everybody I know in my movies.
Did you happen to see the fight last night?
Yeah, I watched the fight with.
Thoughts on the fight?
Canelo looked slower than I've seen him. He looked a little slow. It's like he slightly telegraphed every big bomb he threw. I mean, and he kind of wound up on it. And the other fighter was, granted, a little smaller than Canelo, but he had the speed.
Yes.
And he picked him apart. If you don't knock your opponent out, it's about scoring points.
That's right.
That's the name of the box name.
Yeah, I think it was a fair decision. It was close. It was close. He didn't get humiliated or anything. He wasn't dominated. He never took a backward step. If you remember, in fact, we were worried that he was racking up wins. Because I watched it with in the hotel room with the boxer.
Ray Mercer.
No, the heavyweight that's here. Ray Mercer. Yeah. I watched it with Ray, and it was a fair decision. It's close, but he did outpoint Canelo. He was landing shots. If you don't knock the opponent out, it's whoever's glove touches the most target areas, and is most effective. And I think it was a fair decision. It was close. Canelo didn't get humiliated or anything, but you know he's going up and down divisions and things, and later on in your career, he started fighting at 15 as a pro. I mean, he's been around a long time.
Yeah, over 75.
I wouldn't say Net today is his prime. He's not in his prime. I would say closer to when he fought Mayweather, he was still kind of coming up.
Yeah.
But that was a good fight, him and Mayweather. I like the way Mayweather's style is like a little bit like mine. My philosophy is defense first. They don't call it self-offense. They call it self-defense, right?
Yeah.
You're defending yourself. So when the bell rings, I don't look at my opponent and say, I'm going to land a big bomb. I'm going to land a big kicker. I look at him and I want to find out in the early rounds what I'm in the ring with. Because no matter what you've seen on videos, it's different when they're standing in front of you. There's something about, do they telegraph a little bit? Are they a little open to the body? Because they used to call me the body snatcher in the boxing gym. Oh, no, I knock guys out regularly to the body in boxing gyms. Yeah, with 16-ounce gloves on.
Everybody wants to go for the kill shot, the head.
Headhunters. Headhunters.
Yeah.
Everybody goes for the head. And that's fine for me, but it's easier to hit the head when you've worked the body. And you blasted a guy a few times in the body, then you just pump it one time and go to the head. And look, you know what? When guys get hit in the head, people think, oh, look how tough he is. He's taking all those headshots. It's not painful. Later, the concussion is painful. Yeah. But when you get hit in the body, you feel it right then.
Yeah,
body shots.
You can tell, guys.
Look,
guys.
Garcia got taken out with a body shot, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Tank, boom, body shot. And Garcia's not a wimp guy. Oscar De La Hoya lost his world title, one of his titles. I don't remember when.
Bernard Hopkins.
Hopkins, body shot. And Oscar's a tough guy. I learned body shots were tough. The man who taught me was Bill Superfoot Wallace. I got in the ring with him, and it's the first time I was dropped to the body. He threw a left hook, hit me in the liver. I dropped, and I thought to myself, I'm going to learn how to do that.
If you can't breathe, you can't move.
That's right.
Right. Well, you know what? You feel it instantly. It's not like you feel it 3 rounds later. As soon as it lands, if you're not prepared, you're breathing in or you're relaxed, and he throws something up, and you lift your elbow up, and somebody hits you clean to the body. It's so devastating to a fighter that world champions have given their titles up rather than stand up and fight.
We've seen it many a time.
Yes.
Yep.
Many a time.
Yes. And I'm no exception. Bill Superfoot Wallace. Well, you know what? I learned something. When people are watching because I became a kicker. They used to take kickboxers and say, oh, he's a puncher. Oh, he's a kicker. Well, I was known to be a kicker. So I'd get guys paying attention to my right leg, and then I would do what you call sit down and hit the body. You sit down on your punches, which means you just drop your center of gravity about 2 and 3 inches. And then you can throw your hardest shot. And I have literally scored KOs to the body. I fought the German champion in Berlin, dropped him 3 times, his 3 knockdown roll. Yeah. All 3 shots were the body shots in one round. Boom, boom, boom. Because once you hurt the body, the best thing you can do is go right back to it. You go right back in the body, hit it up. Because as tough as guys are, and that Ferdinand Mack, he was a European champion. He was a tough guy. 3 body shots in a row, and that was it. Yeah. That was it. We have to say that body shots hurt, and they hurt instantaneously, right when you hit them.
We all you do is you watch the fighter, and a lot of times, a lot of the body punches, you see it hit, and then all of a sudden it's like you see the fighter.
Delayed reaction.
Yes, it's a delayed reaction.
No,
You see
because the
it
pain's
sit
got to
back.
go in.
Yes.
And listen, these are tough fighters you're watching. If you're watching him on TV,
yes.
he's a top 10 fighter, professional. He can take pain, and he thinks he might be able to get through it, but then they just drop down to that one knee, and that's it.
And you can see it in the
And that's
face.
it.
Yes.
You know what?
You get a good body shot, you see it in the face. Like,
Tough guys, they get back up and they try. But anybody who's felt it knows if they take another one, that's it. The fight is over. So you see their opponents jump right on and start wailing at that body. It's it's not. They used to call it a lost art in the boxing world, the body shots, but not for experienced fighters. I fought for 28 years, and I got to admit, at Fifth Street Gym, the Ollie's old gym in Miami, they did not call me the Dragon. The boxers called me the Body Snatcher. The Body Snatcher. And then when new guys would come in the gym, they would want me to spar them because they thought, hey, you know, he's a martial artist. He's not a boxer. Don will find out. And I've dropped many guys to the body because they didn't know.
Yeah.
They, first of all, they hear, oh, there's a kickboxer in the gym. Would you like to spar him? When they hear kickboxer, they go,
Oh yeah.
Right.
He can't.
He can't throw a punch.
Yeah.
And then when I hit him to the body, they just drop. Well, I fought this one guy from South Africa. I don't remember his name. He's a top 10 fighter. He's cruiserweight. So a little bit bigger than me. And I got in the ring with him and I hit him in the body. He dropped and he looked at my trainer and he goes, he hit me in the heart. I hit him in the heart. I've heard everything, but I never heard that. But he thought I did damage to his heart. But anyway, I had a fighting style, and you know, I was a southpaw. I was right-handed, but I fought southpaw, so that kind of already messes people up a little bit. My main weapon was a sidekick. They don't even throw it today in the MMA. And I ran 6 miles every day for 10 years, 6 miles a day on the beach in sand, soft sand. So I had cardio way up here. So, you know, there was a method to my madness, and that's why I won 11 world titles.
nice.
11-time world champion.
Well, there's 3 different kinds of kickboxing. You know, there's Muay Thai, then there's Japanese kickboxing, then there's what they call full contact, which we started in America with the PKA. You only kick above the waist.
Yep.
They never did that in the Orient. You know, that doesn't make sense. Only kick above the waist. So, but I won world titles in all 3 of the styles. And when you do anything for 28 years, you get. But the 28th year, you're fighting a guy who's been a pro for like say 2 years, 3 years, and you've been fighting for 28. I mean, there's nothing that anybody could do that I hadn't already seen.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I tell people, you know, from 1980 to 2002, 22 years, I fought 10 and 12s, 10 rounds and 12 rounds.
Yes.
So that's a lot of experience.
Absolutely.
And the other fighters have fought a couple of 10 rounders, and if they hadn't fought for a world title, they didn't fight any 12 rounders. So I had the bulk of the experience against the fighters that I fought. Even though they were top 10 guys and all, they may have been top 10 for 6 months, let's say. So I was fighting top 10 and champions from 1980 to 2002. It's 22 years. That's experience.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And you know what? I thought my last fight, I went into the fight with a broken rib.
Oh.
Before the first, I got my rib broke in training, my last day of sparring. And so I just kept my right hand here. So I fight the guy 9 rounds, experienced guy. Can't remember his name right now, but anyway, experienced fighter. And it was at the Tropicana. And I didn't really throw right hands because I was afraid if I threw the right hand, he might come under me, hit me in that broke rib. So I looked at my trainer, and I used boxing trainers. I had Ken Norton's trainer, Bill Slayton, and I had one of the guys that trained Michael Nunn, Pat Goosen, one of the Goosen brothers. 2 boxing trainers, and I said, hey, it's the last round, 10th round. I said, am I winning this fight? And because you can't really tell. You're in the midst of it. It's the last round. 10th round's coming up. And they look at me, and Bill Slayton looks, he goes, And he looks at the floor. So I learned something about him. He didn't lie to his fighters. He thought I was down on points.
Yep.
It's the guy's hometown. They brought me there so he could specifically beat me. I never fought at the Tropicana. This is my first fight. He's the main event there for years. Eddie Butcher's his name. Eddie Butcher. It's on YouTube. So anyway, I stand up and I'm thinking, okay, my corner tells me I got to knock him out. It's the last round. And I'm down on points. In fact, Pat Goosen, he said, Don, so look at the audience. I looked at the audience. It's sold out at Tropicana, Atlantic City. He said, if he gets the decision, there ain't going to be no booing out there. They're all his people. They came here literally to see him win this fight. He goes, you got to knock him out. So I stood up and I said, you know what? I might as well throw the right hand now because I'm going to lose my last fight. And you can't go out if I lose it, right? No. I already announced that's my last fight. I'm going to fight this fight and then we're tying the gloves up. That's the last time you get a chance to see me. The promoter liked it because it really got people to come to. Yeah. It was packed. So I thought, well, I might as well throw the right hand now. I'm going to lose my last fight. I can't go out like that. So if you fight 9 rounds, any fight, and you don't throw what I call serious right hand, do you know where his left hand was? What we call it, he was in his pocket. He was fighting like this. He was looking for jabs, hooks, uppercuts, nothing coming from this side.
Oh, yeah.
He was wide open. I thought, boom, he starts to go down. But I was trained, it's still legal to hit him until something other than their feet touch the ground. Yeah. So he's going down, but I stepped in, I threw the uppercut, boom, popped his head up again, and then I did what they call 2 for the price of 1. It goes like this. It goes like this. The uppercut lands, and you just turn it right into a right hand. I hit him 2 more times on the chin. He goes down, and there's a saying, you guys heard it, you see the whites of their eyes. When I look down, and all you see is white, you know he's not standing up and finishing the fight. I just go like this. Ring announcer, ladies and gentlemen, in the 10th and final round. And I told this to Holyfield, he burst out laughing. 10th and final round with 4 seconds on the clock. Winner by knockout.
Wow.
Now, Bill Slayton jumps in the room. That's Ken Norton's trainer. He goes, Don, don't ever glove up again. Don't ever. He said, you have used up all your luck. There is no more luck. The great referee in the sky gave you the last bit of luck that you had, and that's it. You never get in this ring again because nobody does that. If you handed me a script and the guy just close fight with his last fight, and he knocks the guy out with 4 seconds left, I said nobody's gonna buy that. Nobody's gonna believe that.
That's a Rocky script.
Rocky didn't knock out Apollo Creed. If he didn't knock out Apollo Creed, we've been booing that movie.
Yeah.
We said that's BS. The guy's a 4-round fighter, 6-round fighter, and he's gonna beat the world champion. No, Rocky was believable because he said, all I want to do is go the distance. He went the distance.
Oh, yeah.
Because he had a chin. But he did not beat Apollo Creed. Apollo Creed won every round of that Rocky. Yeah. And remember, we all jumped up and people, Adrian! It seemed like he knocked out Apollo Creed. He didn't. He lost every round. Oh, yeah. You know, but people forget that. They feel like he won the fight with Apollo Creed, but no, he lost, but he won what his goal was.
To get to
and
to
you know
make
what
it
my
through?
goal
Yeah.
was? My goal in kickboxing was not to I ended up being the highest paid kickboxer, but it was not to be the highest paid kickboxer. It was not to win 11 titles. It was to improve as a martial artist. So therefore, I thought to myself, by fighting real fighters to the knockout, I'm going to get better at striking, not grappling, of course. They didn't have MMA then. But I was a collegiate wrestler, so I already knew how to tie somebody up in a knot if we got to the ground. Yeah. But I said, this is going to improve me as a fighter. And it did. When you fight for 28 years against guys really trying to knock you out, high caliber kickboxers, the guy on the street is just like it's like they're helpless. They're just a big target.
Oh, yeah.
It's just not, can I hit him? It's what do I want to hit him with?
Kick dummy.
You know what I mean?
Kick and punch dummy.
Well, I know this, as being my first job as a bouncer. So I've been in front of judges before. And this time, it was against 3 guys. Now, 3 guys attacked me, and they sucker punched me, one of them. He got over to the side, and he threw the first punch, hit me in the neck, which is the only place you can take a punch and not get knocked out if you're not expecting it, right? He didn't hit me in the head. He missed me. He hit me in the neck. It swelled up, though. But I was in front of the judge because I laid into them, all three guys. I grabbed one because they tried to run, didn't get in their car, and they finally got in their cars in the parking lot. And I jumped on top of the car, and I kicked the car. I dented it. I broke the windshield. I damaged the car, and they drove right to the police department and filed charges on me. They said, "Look at this guy did to my car." But I got in front of the judge, and I told him, he said, "Mr. Wilson, I understand you defend yourself. They hit you first. I came in with a dozen witnesses." He goes, "What I don't understand is what were you doing on top of the car?" And I said, "Your Honor," and listen, judges are like lie detectors. They know when you're lying. And I looked at it, I said, "Your Honor, I thought they were trying to run me over." So I said, "I thought the safest place is on top of the thing. I can't get hit." So I jumped on top of the car. And he looked at me, he goes, "Mr. Wilson, I don't believe that." And he said, "I don't want to see you in front of me." He said, "You got witnesses that said they hit you first? Case dismissed." He said, he basically threw the thing out. They were suing me and everything. But who's gonna out of the clear blue attack three? I was the manager of the nightclub at the time, and I'm going to attack three people wanting to come in. Basically, what it was is they were bikers, and they were not dressed right to come in the club, and they wanted to come in. We didn't allow jeans. This was during the disco era of the 70s. You guys weren't born then. But
I was born.
in the 70s, they had a disco thing, and they wanted guys to come there dressed up nice.
Yeah.
And these guys had dirty old holes in their jeans and stuff. So my bouncers said, "Hey, there's some three guys where they're wanting to come in. They're causing trouble." So I said, "Let me go talk to them." So we go, and I start talking to these three guys, bikers that want to come in the club. And I said, "Man, you guys can do them." And they go, "You know what? You're big and tough in there. When you get those bouncers, we take you around the corner in the parking lot, and we should teach you a lesson." And I said, "You know what they did? They actually, because they look pretty tough, they actually got my competitive thing going." I looked at them, and I said, "You know what? I'm going to go around the corner with these three guys." And I did. I walked around the corner, and I started talking to them. I said, "No, listen, because I thought it was still the talking phase." And one of them just snuck up around the side where I wasn't, and he threw a sucker punch. Boom, hit me. Now, man, that got my adrenaline up. He did the wrong thing, let's put it that way, because I just exploded, man. I wanted payback. And I remember one thing. People ask me, "Well, what techniques did you?" I said, "You know what? I remember grabbing him and hitting him in the stomach." So I hit him in the stomach repetitively, hard as I could, about, I don't know, 6 times. And that guy was hurting. Maybe I broke several ribs or something. Because imagine where my adrenaline is going.
Oh, yeah.
And by the way, people look at me today, I'm a small version of what it was. When I played football, I was 205. I bench pressed 315. I did 3 sets of 5 with 315. I was a rock solid, ran a 4.840. I was like a tank. I'd be, if you look at me, you think I might be a sumo wrestler, maybe. I was solid back then.
Yeah.
I'm maybe like 185 of fat now compared to what I was. And I don't know. I was managing the nightclub at the age of 21. The drinking age was 18. So I started as a bouncer, became a bartender, and ended up being the manager of the club. And by the way, just a coincidence, Hulk Hogan was one of my bartenders.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, Terry. He was a bass player in a band, and he saw my club. And he liked the club so much, he said, "Hey, if I quit the band, will you hire me as a bartender?" I said, "Sure." Everybody thought Terry was a bouncer. I said, "No." He never threw one guy out. First of all, he wore platform shoes. He looked like he was like 7 feet tall.
Oh, Jesus.
And he wasn't into the bodybuilding, but he was still kind of big. And this is before he did the wrestling. He worked for me as a bartender.
Nice.
And so he was never a bouncer. Yeah, Terry worked for me, and he was a bartender. But what are the odds? What are the odds?
Yeah, that's
Terry,
pretty wild.
We both come from the same nightclub.
Yeah, that's wild.
Okay, it's going to be impossible to talk through that thing.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, listen, we appreciate you sharing all the knowledge, the history, the personal experiences.
well,
It's once again we're here at Gathering Styles.
yeah.
Martial art guy right here, Don the Dragon Wilson.
Martial arts, kickboxer, boxer.
Kickboxer, actor. I'm sure you got a lot more titles to your name. But we're all here today at the Gathering of Styles, sharing experiences. That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Everybody's sharing their experiences, coming together, and giving their story. And this is what makes it great. So if you're in the area, you happen to be around, come on down. We've got, we got.
Oh, this is live?
This is
Oh, I didn't
live.
know that.
This is
I thought
live.
they could just edit all my long yakking.
This is live.
Oh, this is live.
This is live.
Oh my gosh.
So come on down.
Yeah, come on down.
Come on down and support the cause. We'd like to thank you.
We're at the Seaport Inn.
My pleasure.
And sharing all your experiences. And enjoy the day.
Yeah, I'm already having fun. You know, I was supposed to get maybe that's my coffee over there. Yeah, in the mornings I like to have coffee, but somebody was going to get me some coffee.
We'll get you some coffee.
Yes,
We'll get you
definitely.
some coffee. We're gonna sign off.
Somebody's wife. She's not just going to leave a coffee cup lying around.
We'll get you some coffee. We're gonna sign off, but come on down. Come on down. Seaport Inn, located here in Fairhaven, and you get to meet Don the Dragon.
The dragon.
Well, I only come here once a year.
The body snatcher, not the dragon.
The body snatcher.
body
I like that.
Well, I'm not going to snatch anybody's body today.
Thank you for sharing all this stuff on WMB1 Radio.
Yes.
And,
This radio.
Yes,
Great.
yes.
Great.
We are
Internet radio.
Internet radio. Yes.
Very good.
We are the station representing the city from the station in which Eric is his hometown. So it's New Bedford.
What town is that?
New Bedford.
New Bedford. Oh,
Yes,
okay.
it's the next town over. You go right over the bridge, and it's right there, New Bedford, Mass. Where we've got a lot of our own legends here. We've got Ray Oliveira, we've got Jason Pyers. Some of the most important people that come from here, the Tavars, the group the Tavars. I don't know if you know them.
No.
So, did you ever see Saturday Night Fever?
Of course.
So they had one of the greatest songs that was on that soundtrack. Very famous. They're from New Bedford.
Wow. Okay. Well, life is learning. I learned something new today. New Bedford.
You know what they say? You never stop learning until the day you die, right?
Hopefully not. Hopefully you won't stop learning.
But thank you. We appreciate you.
My
And
pleasure.
we're gonna go on and enjoy the day along with you.
Yep.
All right.
Very good.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.